Okay, don't go shopping without me. Don't go shopping without this list, because today I'm going to break down the fall trends that really matter for women over 50 in 2025. And I'm going to talk about some trends that we should definitely be skipping. So welcome if you're new here. My name is Netta. I'm a personal stylist. My whole focus is to help you build a beautiful, stylish, confidence inspiring wardrobe over 50. Like, I want us to look and feel fabulous every single day. So I have a lot of tools coming up for that, including my updated fall modern classics wardrobe guide, which will be ready shortly. I have got fall capsule wardrobe planners. I don't know why I can never get that out in one. Fall capsule wardrobe planners based on color type, full capsule wardrobes that will help you get your wardrobe ready for fall and make everyday outfits seamless and easy. And that's going to be inside of my Style Confidence Club. I also have body type styling guides and body type style guides for fall 2025. So lots of fun stuff coming up. Watch this space. Of course, I have my ongoing masterclass series that really we're diving into outfits right now, and you'll definitely want to join that. It's absolutely free. All of this information is going to be in the pinned comment and the description box. So let's get into it, because I, of course, have a lot to talk about for fall. This is really my favorite season, trend-wise or fashion-wise, because this is where all the fun, dramatic, exciting. This is why I got into fashion. I did not get into fashion because of a white t-shirt. I got into fashion because it's art that we can wear, and it's beautiful when done right. It's beautiful and like uplifting and awe-inspiring when done right. And I just think that the artistry that was on some of the fall 2025 runways was like just blew me away. So, okay, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is just kind of some overarching trends that we're seeing, like themes that we're seeing for fall 2025. Now, first of all, I want to say that I think that trends are really relevant, because when we see a shift happening in the culture, often it's harder to recognize it until we look back. Like, we can clearly now see that there was a shift between the 80s and the 90s for those of us who lived during those eras. But often when they're happening, it's subtle. And I feel like there is a subtle shift happening in style right now. I also feel like trends are going to be what's going to make us feel fresh and modern. And I think that that's the key third step in the pyramid, the key third point in the pyramid that's really going to help us look and feel our best every single day. We're not going to look and feel our best if we're still wearing clothes from 11 years ago and we're wearing them in the same way. Okay, so let's talk about some key themes for 2025. The first one is something that I call luxe country life. This is like if the royal family were to invite you to go to their country home, and there was going to be country home activities, but they were fancy. And that's what this looks like to me. We saw this at Max Mara, at Burberry, at Altuzara, Hermes, Calvin Klein. So Fair Isle sweaters, riding boots, quilted outerwear, knitwear with shorts. These are a lot of pieces that many of us already have in our wardrobes, and this is a fun and lots of plaid, fun, easy theme to kind of try on for fall 2025. Okay, another theme that may not be as easy, depending on your personal style, is kind of a mix of grunge and goth. So this is like kind of like shredded clothing, kind of undone silhouettes, kind of a little bit of like I woke up like this chic. So we're seeing really kind of undone elegance. And we're also seeing some kind of gothic inspired, like darker lace. So it's that romanticism that we saw in spring, but it's for fall. So it's a fall color palette, darker lace, darker, moodier, like styles going down the runway. We saw this a lot at Prada, at Alaya, Dior, Alexander McQueen. Lots of black lace, sheer chiffon, ruffled collars, some leather thrown in there. Ferragamo and Alberta Ferretti really leaned into this as well. It's really beautiful and still very feminine, but very kind of moody and very fall-ish, right? Okay, another trend is, and one that many of us have, is Western touches. So this is like Western inspired, cowboy inspired, like cowboy core still happening but it's not costumey. It's like touches of cowboy. So like touches of fringe, touches of, quite a bit of suede, Western inspired footwear, denim on denim. This is how that trend is showing up for fall 2025. And I really, really like it. Another trend that was really interesting is kind of an exploration of every decade. So it's a throwback trend. This is what I'm calling it. I'm calling it the throwback trend because we saw nods to the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 90s and the 80s. It's so there's really, and even like Edwardian era. Like we just saw a little bit of everything. Like Fendi was very 30s inspired. Chloe, as always, kind of leans into the boho 70s thing. Calvin Klein did 90s. Tom Ford or Saint Laurent did 80s. So there was just a reference to every previous decade that many of us love. Okay, another trend that is super, super easy to pull off is the return of color. We have seen seasons of neutrals and a lot of beige on beige with more beige and then a little bit more beige. And we're going to see color and I am here for it. You know I'm a color person as I say this in my neutral blouse, but I love, love, love color. And I'm super, super excited about this trend. So we're seeing a lot of jewel tones. And we're seeing a lot of bold colors as well, not neons, but like rich, bold colors. And then we're also seeing, the color of the season, which is burgundy, oxblood, wine, whatever you want to call it, different ranges of that shade from like a lighter raspberry color to a deeper wine color. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. But electric orange, chiffon yellow, aqua blue, royal purple, Saint Laurent had like a rainbow of colors. So really like lots and lots of color. And again, something many of us already have and we can just kind of pull out. Okay, another thing this is a shift that I didn't see this coming. But it's these curved and very strong silhouettes, curved like waistlines with like strong hip like structure in the jackets. So hourglass peplums, barrel denim, rounded volume, like that type of, so we're really seeing the barrel jeans. We're really seeing like the rounded peplum jackets. We're seeing rounded sleeves. We saw this at Givenchy, Schiaparelli, Duran Lantink, I think, that's a really, really big kind of trend or a brand to watch this season. It was a very influential runway show. Saint Laurent, Victoria Beckham. Victoria Beckham did some really cool things with this, but it's a very sculptural look. And it's kind of all about curvature and all about curves. And so it'll be interesting to see how this filters down to places like Zara and H&M and Dillard's and places that we actually shop. And then the last trend I want to talk about is one I'm leaning into today a little bit, and it's femininity. We saw just feminine style. So it's not just the black lace gothic feminine style, but like a more conventionally feminine style. So Prada, Givenchy, Schiaparelli all did like different nods to feminine. So for Prada, it was more like a take on, and especially at Miu Miu, more like a 1950s feminine. Schiaparelli did kind of like old Hollywood. Lots of hourglass silhouettes, lots of really feminine details. The bow blouses, the lace, all of the things. Okay, now let's talk about the specific trends that we're going to be seeing in stores for fall 2025. I really think many of these are going to be things that are very wearable or that we can adapt easily to our wardrobes and our lifestyles. Okay, the first thing is statement coats. I love this trend. We're seeing really broad shouldered statement coats, like really dramatic shoulders. Again, that curve silhouette is showing up in coats, but we're also seeing coats that are more statement because maybe they've got a color or maybe they've got fur detail. So sculptural shapes dominate, exaggerated shoulders, dropped hems. We saw this at Totem, at the Row, but we also saw every single, and I'm going to pop up pictures here so you guys can see any kind of statement coat that you can possibly imagine, from like a 70s inspired shearling to faux fur touches to color to interesting shapes. It was all about the statement coat for fall 2025. And I love this. It's a very practical trend because obviously many of you need coats. Not as practical here in Florida, but maybe I'll find a trench for the coldest day in Florida winter and try to make that work for this trend. But I love it. Another trend that I think is so fabulous is leather in unexpected colors. So leather in color. I love this trend because I love leather, and leather is huge for fall, winter. It always is. These are not really surprising. Like they kind of do this every year, but the color is a little bit different, a little bit more surprising. So Bottega Veneta, Kate, all showed, like Nanushka, Stod, they showed leather in all different colors, from that oxblood color I'm talking about to deep olive, which is another huge color. Lots of chocolate brown, which is not exactly a color, but I saw a lot of chocolate brown leather, slate blue, even like lighter colors like blush and beige in leather. Like leather in color was everywhere and was a key trend, and I think something that we can easily try on. You may have colored leather pieces already in your wardrobe, or you may want to like check out some higher quality vegan leather or real leather in a color if that's something that suits your personal style. For me, this is something I might invest in, like something in oxblood leather, and keep it for the rest of my life, because that's going to go for me from being a trend to being a personality piece or like a statement or staple piece in my wardrobe. Okay, now we're going to talk about tailoring, because tailoring was key and was huge everywhere. We really saw like suits and suiting and tailored jackets and tailored, blazers. So those of you who already wear blazers to work, you have the advantage. This is probably something you have hanging in your closet. But we're seeing sharp, clean, slightly oversized still. And we're all gonna need to tweak that to make it work for us and our bodies. But really like striking tailoring. Designers like Peter Doe, Ferragamo, TB. We saw a lot of single button blazers, which seem to be back in a big way. They're never out of style, but they are a trend right now. Pleated trousers, elongated vests, lots of sleek, sharp, clean tailoring. Okay, next, we're seeing neutrals with a twist, because really the focus this season is on color, and we're not seeing as much old money or old like quiet luxury look right now. But when we are seeing neutrals, we're seeing neutrals with texture. So we're not just seeing beige with beige with beige and it's all the same material. We're seeing like a mix of textures that really elevate neutrals and make them look more interesting. So I love this trend. Like you can do the tonal look. We're still seeing that, like different shades of beige, but maybe one piece is leather and one piece is denim and one piece is cashmere, like something like that. So really layering your neutrals. Max Mara, The Row, La Mer all did this really well. Mixing cashmere, suede, wool, flannel. Again, it's all about texture when you're doing neutrals head to toe this season. And a very easy, like something that many of us are gonna have, if you have denim and you have silk and you have cashmere or whatever, just like wear them together. Okay, jewel tones. I kind of alluded to color already, but I am obsessed with the jewel tones this season. So we're seeing sapphire, garnet, emerald show up on runways, and in things like suiting and things like coats and things like leather show up in Brandon Maxwell, Carolina Herrera, Prabal Gurung. I never know how to say that name. I always say it wrong. But I will pop up some pictures here. Often styled with more muted accessories, and I really like the color combinations we're seeing, and I'm doing a whole separate video on colors and color combinations and how to wear them for fall 2025, because I'm super excited about it, and it's one of the easiest ways all of us can update our wardrobes. The Peplum is back. It's a little different, but it's back, and you can definitely pull out the Peplums that you've had. I'm definitely going to be pulling out my burgundy Peplum top this season that I archived for a couple of years. It was a favorite. The thing about Peplums is that they are fabulous the right Peplum can fabulously disguise a tummy, and many of us welcome that. Anything that minimizes the tummy area, I'm here for. So they're not frilly as much as they are more architectural. They're like stronger shapes right now. A little bit. We're also seeing some like asymmetric peplums, which I think are very cool and can definitely give shape to your shape, especially if your waistline is straightening out. An architectural peplum is such a cool, like a asymmetric one is such a cool detail to look for. We saw this at Proenza Schooler, at Caperni, and I really liked these with like slimmer skirts and sleeker pants. So just a really cool trend and something to look for. I'm super glad that this is back, because we haven't seen this in this way in a while. Okay, chunky knits with a little polish. So this is so easy, but like chunky thick sweaters, slouchy but they're structured, and then the fabrics are beautiful and the finishes are beautiful. So we saw this at Gabriella Hearst, at Akinva, I do not know how to pronounce Akinva, Joseph. We're seeing like sweaters paired with midi skirts, with leather pants, even with tailored shorts, and just really, really beautiful sweaters. Is any of this leather, fur, sweaters, any of this revolutionary? Not really, but it looks a little different this year. Okay, this one's gonna take a moment. This is gonna take a moment. We're gonna talk about skirt lengths, because my first take on fall after watching hours and hours of runway shows is that midi skirts are making an emphatic stand and saying, we're here, we're not going anywhere. It was all about midi skirts. I felt like it was all about midi skirts for fall. And then I started really looking at like not only what was coming back into stores, but also took a second look at the trends and a second look at the runways. And I'm also seeing midi skirts joined by knee-length skirts at long last. We're gonna see knee-length skirts again. We don't all, especially those of us who are petite, we don't have to just wear midi skirts for the rest of our lives. Midi skirts are huge, but we are also seeing a return to a classic street length or knee-length skirt. So we're seeing skirts right above the knee. We're seeing skirts in the middle of the knee. We're seeing skirts right below the knee. We haven't seen that above the knee or middle of the knee length. It has not been easy to find for a minute. Like, it has been a long time. I want to say 27 million years since we have seen like a regular like classic length skirt. We've had middies definitely since 2020, and they've just dominated. So we are still seeing them, but we're also seeing knee length skirts, and I'm super excited about this. We're also seeing mini skirts. So, you know, enter at your own risk. I might be diving into a mini skirt or so, but it's not going to be a micro mini. And some of these were super short. I like a shorter skirt as a shorter person, but what I love is that we've got variety and we've got options this season. After years of just midi skirts, we're seeing shorter skirts return. We saw this everywhere. Altuzara, Kaz, TB, like it was everywhere. And definitely like street style outside of fashion weeks, we saw a lot of the shorter skirts. Okay, burgundy. I keep talking about color, but burgundy. Burgundy is my love language. It is a color in my color palette. Now I'm going to say that even though colors can be trending one year or another, colors don't go out of style. But what happens when a color trends is that there's more of it in stores, so that means we have more opportunities to buy it. I'm so happy that burgundy is back. It is a color that is in my color palette and that I wear often, and it's a near neutral that works. There's a version of burgundy that works on everybody. Truly, it is one of those colors that there's a version of that works on every single woman. So definitely a color that we can all get behind this season, in my opinion. It's richer than red, a little bit more wearable than purple, which purple is also a key trend. If you love purple, this is your moment. We saw it in outerwear, knits, and accessories, and Fendi, Victoria Beckham, Kaz. Just, it was truly everywhere. Next, pinstripes. Pinstripes, I like this, and I'm not a menswear person, but I like pinstripes on like something like a feminine piece. But we really saw a lot of like kind of a return to pinstripes as a major kind of pattern for fall 2025. This is an easy one to dip into. Like, it could be a cute little jacket, it could be pants, it could be one of those new vests that we're all wearing. I just like this. I think it's a little easy, and many of you are gonna have, like Theory showed some really cool pinstripe wide leg pants. Joseph showed pinstripe coats. So many of you are gonna have some pinstripe pieces in your wardrobe, so just break them out this season. Next, quilted textures. So quilting is not just for parkas anymore. Now it's on not just for bags. Now it's on skirts and on tops and on other accessories. Like, we're seeing it on shoes. We're seeing quilting everywhere. Pants, skirts. We saw it at Johnny, at Stan Studios, at Marnie, especially in accessories, but definitely we're still seeing it in clothing, and I absolutely love it. So I think quilting is just a cool, easy trend to wear. Okay, the next trend I want to talk about, this is one I love. I have always been a fan of a knit skirt set. I just love knits in general. I just think they're super cozy and flattering and cool. I don't know, I like the kind of love story vibe that they give. So we're seeing like tops and skirts in knits that like are sets that match. So cozy but elevated coordinated sets. Stod, Reese, Jonathan Simkai, who I think did it so well this season. We're seeing a lot of these sets. Often they're belted. Sometimes they have contrast piping, which I love. It's another thing I really love. I love that contrast piping look, but just a lot of knit sets. I have a couple that I already love, and truly, if you've got like a knit skirt and a knit sweater in sort of the same color, you can obviously put this together, but just a lot of these sets together, and I'm loving them. So of course I'm going to have a fall trends catalog, and as things go into stores, I will be updating it with wearable piece and shoppable pieces and all different price points, if you want to dive into any of these trends, which I think you're going to want to. Okay. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. We all need to universally embrace this trend because I don't want it to go away, okay? So just don't click off when you hear this. It's capes and capelets. I am so happy. I'm so happy. Like this is our opportunity to insert some drama into our style. Like I love it. I love it. Like of course we see this most of all in evening wear, and I found some ridiculously stunning gowns with capes. And all of a sudden I was just like, why would you ever wear a gown that doesn't have a cape? I just don't understand. Like it's just so glamorous and dramatic and extra, and I love it. But we're also seeing, for those of you who are like, I don't want to be dramatic and extra, maybe you want a little capelet. So we're even seeing like little sweater capelets worn over the shoulders. We're seeing capelet details on coats. We're just seeing lots and lots. You know, Valentino, Elie Saab, Max Mara all showed this. Wool, cashmere, leather. They add drama without the bulk of a poncho. I just think this is our new poncho. Let's lean into capes. I will be wearing capes as I float around the world, redoing closets, having my superhero moments. I just feel like this is something that is a fun trend for fall 2025. And let's face it, sometimes clothes are just boring, and this is just not boring. Okay. I made my case, and you're going to be seeing me wear a cape a lot, and I just want everybody to applaud whenever you see someone wearing a cape, because that is a moment. Okay, next, faux fur accents. I mean, it's predictable. It's fall. I'm gonna do that Miranda, like, faux fur for fall. Groundbreaking, right? It's not groundbreaking, but it does look a little different this year, and it is fabulous. So we're seeing a lot of like dramatic faux fur, but rather than, we're seeing some faux fur coats, but we're also seeing more than just like pieces that are completely faux fur. We're seeing a lot of trim in faux fur and accessories in faux fur. So, collar trims, cuffs, detachable stoles, seeing a lot of stoles that come on and off. I have a Petite Studio jacket that I love that has a detachable faux fur collar. We're seeing, Stan Studio, Stella McCartney, at Paris. There were so many cool faux fur accents on styles for fall 2025, and I absolutely love this trend. So really like the collars. I really like the accessories. I think this is just an easy way, and it's very, very cozy. It's a little bit more restrained than previous years. It's not like over the top fur, but it's like cozy fur touches. Okay. Sheer layers. I don't know how to put this, but to say that there's a lot of nudity on the runways, a lot of nakedness, and this is not something that many of us are going to want to dive into, at least not the way that they show it. But I love sheer touches in a sleeve, in a hem, just a piece of chiffon or sheer fabric worked into an otherwise covered outfit. Like, I think this can be really, really beautiful and really, really feminine. Of course, everything on runways is theater, and it is definitely more exaggerated than we'd wear in real life. But of course, there are sheer layers, which are fabulous, like mesh turtlenecks. We're seeing chiffon skirts over opaque slips, so we are going to see wearable versions of this as well. We saw this at Prada, at Acne Studios. Truly, we saw it everywhere. It was such a cool trend when worn in a way that we can actually leave the house in. And then what I really like seeing is like sheer pieces layered under knits. So like a sheer chiffon blouse layered under a chunky sweater, like things like that I think make it more wearable and cool and a little unexpected. Okay, Another trend that I saw a lot is layering with these sheer pieces. So we're seeing sheer over sheer over sheer, but we're also seeing sheer over opaque. And then we're seeing tops layered on top of each other. We're seeing layered tanks. We're seeing layered tops. We're seeing tanks over tees. We're seeing tanks over tanks. We're seeing sheer tanks over opaque tanks. We're just seeing a lot of layering in general, and the sheerness really obviously is going to work much better when layered. And then, you know, I kind of alluded to this with the neutrals, but we're seeing textures that are clashing. So we're really seeing like take a crunchy texture and a sleek texture and combine them. So like patent leather with a crunchy mohair sweater, or shearling worn with silk. So it's really that clash of textures and that combination of textures that's really having a moment. You know, we're seeing things like tweed with patent leather, like just that opposite texture thing happening. I love it. We saw this at Dries Van Noten, at Ulla Johnson, at Altuzara. I just love this. I think this is, again, something that we can recreate with things that we have in our closets, but also it's just very luxurious and beautiful and striking. Okay, now let's talk about the trends that I think we should be skipping. You know that there's a lot out there, and there's a lot more than that's on this list that we should be skipping, but I'm just going to kind of quickly dabble in these. The first is the uber thin stiletto. I love a stiletto. I'm glad stilettos are back. I really like them, but some of these look like a pin. They are so thin. So we're seeing really thin heels. That's not all we're seeing. We're going to see a lot of other shoes, and I'm doing a separate shoe video, but this is definitely one of the key trends. You can poke someone's eye out with this shoe. Actually, these would double as a great weapon, so maybe they're practical. Maybe you can justify the purchase of an expensive pair of shoes because you can protect yourself with them if anyone gets too close. But this is definitely a trend that's going to be hard to wear and hard to walk in. Another one, I kind of alluded to this already, it's the micro mini. I mean micro. This was also had a close cousin of a hot pant, which we saw everywhere, like hot pants and micro minis. I just feel like these are not wearable. Like if your bum hits the seat when you sit down, your skirt might be a little too short. These are super short, and I think something obviously many of us are gonna skip. And I talked about the naked dress, the sheer dress. We're seeing this in lace and sheer chiffon fabrics, and then we're just seeing like chainmail or mesh, like all different types of just like nudity. And that to me is just not something that's wearable and that we're any of us are really going to want to dive into. And then the final one is, this is something that we might be a little bit more tempted by, but I would encourage you to like maybe skip, or at least let's wait it out. And it's puddled and distressed denim. I think I'm going to do a whole separate video on jean trends and denim trends for 2025. Comment below if you want to see jean and denim trends for 2025, because it's something many of us wear all the time, jeans and denim. And so we're really seeing puddled denim that's like dragging on the floor. I can just see this getting really messy really fast, and also maybe being a tripping hazard. I just don't really see this as a really practical trend, and I'm not the most practical person. I'm the type of person who'll tell you wear the stiletto and have someone carry you places, but this just isn't working for me. I just don't know. Also, if you're not super tall, this is gonna make you look a lot shorter. The other trend is like uber distressed. I just, had that timeless, 10 timeless forever pieces that you can have in your wardrobe. Distressed denim was one of those things that is definitely not timeless. It is, these are like ripped to within an inch of their lives. Like you're gonna see your entire leg through these jeans. So I feel like this really distressed jean look is very hard to wear. It's a little sloppy. I mean, we might see like touches of distressing, and if you like that, that's great, because we are seeing that come back if that's something that you have and enjoy. But the very distressed, heavily distressed denim, I think, is something we should skip. So that's it, my full breakdown of fall 2025 trends. There are so many of them that I think are wearable, so many of them that we may already have, doing a separate video on trends you may already own. But really, like, kind of being aware of what we're going to find in stores, what we're going to see in stores, the direction that style is heading, so that we don't wake up in 2030, 2035 and say, whoa, what happened? I knew that style was changing, but I had no idea how much. Like, this is kind of, I feel like we're kind of seeing a turning point in some trends and some styles, and we might look back on this as a time when kind of style changed and we all started doing things a little differently. Who knows? Who knows? Only time will tell, but I'm really excited about diving into some of these trends, and I hope you are too. So if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe so we can hang out some more. Love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.